and just wondered how you organized things defensively, what you thought of the pressure from the guards, you coming out to help on Fox, on Buddy. It seemed like you guys were really impactful on them on the perimeter all evening.
Yeah, I thought that we did a pretty good job of communicating and listening and trying to execute the schemes. I thought everybody was on the same page. We had 3, 4, 5 guys every time defensively, talking to each other, helping each other. That makes the game a lot more fun.
And Mark, could you just take us through the last couple of days since, Drummond signed and Frank said he spoke to you, and then, the toe when you're playing in the fourth quarter, Frank's talking about how well you're playing, now you're starting. How has this whole week plus gone for you?
The way it looks, how, it's just things get thrown at you and you have to adapt as quick as possible. And as you can imagine, it's just, it is what it is.
Dan?
Hey, Mark. When Frank spoke to you about what was happening, and he told you, we're still going to need you. We need you to be ready. What was your reaction to that initially? And did you think, in your mind, could you have thought that ready would have meant, in the fourth quarter of Andre's first game and back in the starting lineup the next one?
Private conversations, are meant to remain private, I think. If it can go word by word on what we spoke on that meeting, but it's life. Things change and you have to adapt as fast as possible. When I signed with the team, it was to contribute to help the team, especially the two main guys, to help their games and accomplish their goals, which are win another championship. So I don't think that has changed.
I was just going to follow up to be clear that hasn't changed. You still want to be with this team through the rest of the year?
Things can change quickly in the NBA, just as they have changed for me. But I'm committed to this team. It's a hard pill to swallow because I know that I'm going to be out of the lineup at some point, and that's just it's never easy on a player. You always, as a basketball player, you want to play, you want to contribute, especially, when you make that commitment for that reason. But we'll see.
Kyle?
Hey, Mark. One thing Frank has said consistently is, the Lakers are going to need all the players, and specifically to the centers, you're going to need all 3 centers for different matchups depending on, what is needed. Do you feel the validity of that? Do you see your use in that way, and do you kind of have belief that your time, especially in playoff matchups, potentially will come?
I think there's an asterisk to that. I think there's an if they need you, and it's a big if, and then you have to, depend. You're not plan A right now. You plan C, D, and that's not, like I said. You have to accept it because that's your job and that's what you sign up to do. But it's never easy to accept that, especially when you ask if you've done something wrong. When you try to do everything for the team, you don't care. Obviously, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't care much about my stats and the shots that I get or rebound that I get. I try to box my guy out or make the next play and help everyone out. So it's not easy. But it's life. You have to adapt. It's like I said, you either you take it as a challenge or you move on.
All right, we have time for one more. Let's go to Dave.
Mark, it's good to see you. There was a point earlier in the year when I think you guys lost in Detroit, and Frank made some lineup adjustments, and another one of the guys that you came in with this summer, Wes Matthews, found himself out of the rotation. And Wes was very complimentary of you the other night and asked about your contributions. And I'm just wondering, is there any kinship that you guys maybe can bond on in this? You came in together and, recognize that there's going to be times when you're playing, times when you're not.
That's what happens on deep teams. You're going to have talent, veteran talent that doesn't play. It happens.
All right, Mark, thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah.
Marc Gasol, a very honest interview right there, Big Game James. I want to start with you, and it's definitely appreciated by his teammates in the organization. But I loved his honesty, because if you're a pro and you're an athlete and you're a competitor, it's not easy to accept, but it is part of life, and you do have to adapt. He said everything right.
Yeah, it's not easy to accept, especially a guy at this stage of career. He feels like, you know, he can contribute right now, but he's a consummate pro. You know, it's like when you have to take some nasty cough medicine. You don't want to take it, but you know it's the right thing to do. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to be better for the household. It's going to be better for the team. So that's what he does, and that's part of the game. You know, he can't complain. He got to take whatever disappointment he has about not playing and channel that into something positive for when he comes into the game, which turned into something nice. Him coming in the game with that second unit, Trez, I thought it was going to be something very nice for him.
You know, he's in a tough spot, obviously. You get a guy like Andre Drummond, who's 9 years younger than Marc Gasol, and he comes in, hasn't played in a month and a half, showed a little bit of rust the other night, obviously, and of course the unfortunate toe injury. And Marc has to realize that this is the new guy. You know, I'm going to have to take a step back, kind of like his older brother Pau had to do in San Antonio towards the end of his career. You had guys like Pirtle starting to come up through the ranks. He's not, you know, Pau started to lose his starting job. LaMarcus Aldridge, a better player than Pau at that point in time. And Marc Gasol, I really love the frank nature of that interview. Did not hide anything, and he said, you know, this is what has to happen, and it's not fun. I'm going to have to accept it.
It's tough. You know, I'm sure in his mind, he thought that they were bringing him here to really start and play. He didn't think they had any idea with Drummond. Maybe a backup, McGee or somebody.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
And
Sure.
so his expectations was to play. He's not that young anymore. So I don't know
And James,
how he's going to feel next year or after that. So I think he really wanted to come in and play, and the fact that he's not going to be able to do that now, he's got to take on another role. It's disappointing.
And the style of play, right, James? Like, he's a stretch the floor center now that you can run an offense through. Andre Drummond, they're sagging off. All his points are coming in the paint. He's setting more pick and roll. So it's a totally different style of basketball.
Yeah, and he can't compete with what Drummond has done this season. Obviously, things did not end well for him in Cleveland. But back in January, 33 points, 23 rebounds in a game against the Knicks, 20 points, 20 rebounds against Milwaukee, another 20-20 game in the month of January. That's not that long ago. That's only 2 months ago. Andre Drummond will produce and can produce. And Marc Gasol used to be a dynamic player, still can do some special things. I'm going to use the word again, niche. Did I say it right this time? So he's got some elements to his game, but he realizes on